we have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
So we are going live.
Now
yes.
now you are able to listen to me.
Yes,
Audio
yes,
is clear.
yes,
This is the
yes.
difference.
Yes. Shall we start our webinar, sir? We are now through. Dr. Anjaneya Sharma?
Sir.
Can we start the webinar?
Yeah, sure, sir. We can start.
Dr. Sir, Aramchadama?
Yes.
It's now live. Very good afternoon to everyone who are joining us in this webinar series from Gandhigram Institute, Dev University through its GRI Center. And it's a very pleasant thing that meeting you again in different subjects and speaking with the eminent speakers every day. I personally thank our Chancellor, Dr. K.M. Annamalai, for giving us this opportunity, hand-holding us for taking this webinar to further ahead. And we have our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Madheswaran, will join, and his blessing is always there with us. Our Registrar, Dr. V.P.R. Shivakumar, his cooperation and support is always there in conducting these webinars. And we have today Dr. M. Soundarpandian, in charge coordinator of GRI Center, with us to give a welcome address. We have our today Dr. Anjaneya Sharma Nouduri, very eminent speaker from Belai. Sir is going to speak about role of HRM in pandemic. So before we start, let me request Dr. Soundarpandian to give a welcome address. Dr. Sir.
Good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Chancellor of Gandhigram Rural Institute, Dr. K.M. Annamalai, and revered Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Madheswaran, Registrar, most respected Registrar, Dr. V.P.R. Shivakumar, and the seminar convener, my good friend, Dr. Krishna Kumar, and other participants of the program, the 5 days webinar program. Good afternoon to everyone. Really, I am very happy to welcome each one of you for this 5 days, the 9th webinar series organized by our GRI Center, New Delhi. With the great inspiration and the very great motivation by our revered Chancellor, Dr. K.M. Annamalai, the GRI Center was started in order to impart the knowledge to each student fraternity, not only to GRI but to everyone. So, by direction of the revered Chancellor, the GRI Center is organizing the 5 days webinar series. This is the 9th 5-day webinar series. Dr. Krishna Kumar is organizing successfully the nearly 40 webinars till now on behalf of the GRI Center. And also, the GRI Center is involved in extensive research activities on topics and careful choosing of speakers. Really, I appreciate in this occasion for this 5-day webinar, the eminent persons, yesterday Dr. Professor Padmanabhan Sayer, today Dr. Anjaneya Sharma, the management professor, and other faculty eminent persons are also invited and fixed by the technical officer to Chancellor Dr. Krishna Kumar. I am very happy because the international webinar is viewed uh, by nearly 9,000 persons across the world with 225 subscribers are and in the at the growing level. So uh, it is a great opportunity to deliver the quality speech in the YouTube channel. Also, it is going on. So I am very thankful to the technical officer and other staff members of GRI Center for organizing the uh, webinar. And on behalf of the GRI Center, Gandhigram Rural Institute, I extend my heartfelt welcome to the resource person, Dr. Anjaneya Sharma Nouduri. He is I am belonging to the management faculty. Really, I am very happy to see and hear the views of the Anjaneya Sharma. He is going to speak on very the inspiring topic, role of HRM in pandemic. So it is very difficult task because management, the HRM, but during the pandemic, we are work at home. Many challenges we are facing. So, Dr. Anjaneya Sharma is going to speak a issue-based relevant topic in this occasion. So, on behalf of the our GRI Center and on my own behalf, I extend my heartfelt welcome to the resource person, Dr. Anjaneya Sharma. Welcome you, sir. And I welcome our friend Dr. Krishna Kumar and other staff members of the GRI Center for organizing and conducting the very useful and that is documented. It is very important thing is in future it will speak about the achievement of the GRI Center. So in this way, they are organizing the webinar. So I extend my welcome to each one of you for organizing such programs. And the participants of the program, you are free to ask the questions at the end of the sessions. So you get an opportunity to have more views about the HRM during the pandemic period. So once again, I extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you for the second day webinar. Welcome you, sir. Welcome you, each one of you. I am thankful for the GRI Center for giving this opportunity to deliver the welcome address. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. It was very pleasant hearing you, being your subject and being the head of the Department of Management. It will be great that you are also being with us in this webinar series. Today, we are entering into second day of 9th webinar series from Gandhigram Institute University. We have our esteemed guest, Dr. Anjaneya Sharma Nouduri. In spite of his busy schedule, he has agreed to us in joining this webinar series. And sir, you are most welcome for being with us in this. And I hope and pray that we will come out with new subjects in the later days also. To introduce Dr. Anjaneya Sharma, he is a human resources development personnel with 24 plus years experience. He is into corporate training, HR audit, performance management system, quality audit, etc. Academics, he is teaching PG diploma in management, MBA, BBA, BCom, BCA, BTech students. The college administration, campus placement training, and end-to-end academic operations. He is vice principal also in the Rumta Institute of Science and Technology. He earned his PhD Commerce and Management, Department of Commerce and Business Administration in Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. He was awarded MPhil Business Administration from Annamalai University, Tamil Nadu in September 2019. Very happy that I have also done both the graduation, post-graduations from our university. He had completed PGDM in Personal and Global Management approved by AICTE, equivalent to MBA from Andhra Pradesh University, Andhra University in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, from Integral Institute of Advanced Management, Visakhapatnam. He has done his BSc from Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, and major awards in his way. He is awarded Best Researcher Award by SSRN and Elsevier. His major certifications are he is certified train and trainer from both Bodhi. He is certified as a data analyst trainer by IBM SPSS and in South Asia. Research co-guide in Kalasalingam University. He has presented and published almost 21 research papers at IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Delhi, in various national and international conferences and UGC journals. He has participated in many webinars scheduled by CII, AICTE, UGC, TVRLS, NSRDN, and other reputed universities since March 2020. He has participated in Ravi Mithai Memorial Lectures in IIM Ahmedabad in 2004. And his session, other responsibility what he has done is he was session chair in Employee Welfare and Social Security, UGC sponsored 2-day national seminar on EWSS in 2020, Acharya Nagarjuna University in Guntur on 15th and 16th of February 2020. Session co-chair Internet of Things, Business Applications and Opportunities, UGC sponsored 2-day national seminar in IoT 2020, Acharya Nagarjuna University in Guntur, 14th and 15th of February. Member of Board of Studies for MBA courses, member of Academic Council for MBA courses. He has organized many seminars, symposiums, and case study sessions, industry visits, etc. He has headed and organized, participated in the College Level National Service Scheme, NSS, during 91 to 94. We can go on adding qualities and credentials, but we have very short time, so we will be pushing into our webinar. You're most welcome, Dr. Nagarjuna Sharma Nouduri, for delivering our lecture, joining us today. You're welcome. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, KM Annamalai, sir, the Chancellor of the University, Dr. Mahadeshwaran, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakumar, the Registrar, then Professor and HOD, Department of Rural Industry and Management, Coordinator, DRI Center, Professor M. Saundar Pandyan. So, and other eminent participants, Dr. Krishna, who is the person who has connected me for this webinar. Extremely grateful, sir, to the HOD as well as Professor Krishna also, so that you have given a beautiful opportunity to me to interact with you all. Thank you for your elaborate introduction. A very small is a small drop in the ocean. Lot of things to learn going forward from everyone. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Saundar Pandyan sir and Dr. Krishna sir for beautiful introduction and welcoming. So today's topic, we are talking about the role of HRD, human resource development in pandemic. We all are in a state where we have to overcome this situation of pandemic. But the pandemic, going little thinking a bit of pandemic will not do. We have to be out of pandemic. So the pandemic has thrown the world into some uncharted territory. So experts believe that COVID-19 may significantly impact about 200 billion US dollars in IT sector. So there is a silver lining that is expected to be a short-term challenge for the IT industry. But okay, barring IT industry, all other industries have got affected. So there is lot of remote working. So work from home, lot of demand for automation, and there is lot of collaboration that is basically happening. and people are shifting to something cloud computing. So people are coming forward. The human resources have taken a very major shift from a face-to-face classroom or a face-to-face office or a physical facility has gone totally virtual. So the HR department now, there is a lot of shift that has really taken place, and lot of enablement and engagement of teams is has become a major challenge, and many hard decisions had to be taken. So there are certain business outcomes also because of this. What is happening is lot of efforts related to maybe the rents of physical buildings and the maintenance cost and so many costs, though it is settling down, but the human resources are getting definitely a new dimension to work with. So the organizations are preparing their employees to work from home. So this is from the last year when we all have really struggled very hard to see that how the online activity will really go on and how people will be equipped with the resources so that the employees can enhance the productivity. So how to ensure that the performance of the employees really could be maintained and further enhanced. And second important thing is how the employees appraisal could be really done. How will you evaluate the performance of employees when people are working from different locations who are mostly online? And third important aspect is what is their emotional well-being? How are they really feeling as employees? Because earlier they were interacting with the colleagues, they were interacting with their seniors, they were interacting with many other people. So there is certain amount of mental and emotional well-being one has to really take into consideration. So a lot of anxiety got induced, certain amount of stress levels have increased, and the employers totally have a challenge that how these emotions could be really taken into consideration, how people can be motivated, how people will be productive, and how to prepare employees in the new normal. So there was lot of disruption in almost all spheres. So the traditional ways of working have now become online, and IT has become an essential compulsory component for everyone. So the present and future of all the companies, now it is more of on blended working mechanisms, both remote working as well as the face to face. So blended working, definitely with, as I've told, that minimum investment in infrastructure is there, but HR, it is crucial for HR to revamp the policies and processes. So the revamping of these policies and processes according to the new normal was another challenge, because whatever onboarding or other practices people were adopting, like recruiting and selection, now there is no physical face-to-face interaction, for example. So people are interacting online. So these onboarding practices for new employees, even induction also and alignment also, along with the visions and goals of the organizations, has become really a very big challenge. So now this challenge is now on a virtual platform. It is not on a because now are the employees really capable of really working on virtual platforms? Is it really good enough? How to train these employees? Basically, how these people will basically ensure that this they are working on a virtual platform. So, a lot of ICT training online has taken place in the past. And another problem, what we have is how to match up with the competencies of employees, because most of the employees, what they are doing is they are getting so many certifications and so many updation is going on online. Because of that, the matured workforce, how to deal with matured workforce, very important aspect. that the managers have to further upgrade, so that the mode and methodology of dealing with the matured learned workforce is another important challenge. Earlier, what they were doing, they were guiding, and all the existing policies and procedures and interaction was happening face to face. They were able to assess the problems and they could come out with certain solutions. But now what happens is, now employee is already a learned man. So now, whether if they get some new opportunity, they might shift to a new opportunity, because now virtually people are aware of the various vacancies that are available. So what is the way forward for HR, and how the development now here, human resource development as a matter of fact has got a challenge now. Challenge is, earlier we were thinking about developing human resources. Now we are talking about how to deal with developed human resources. So this is a major aspect which we have to already think. So it is self-learning, that is a component that many people are learning through spending lot of time. Now what to do in a pandemic kind of situation, and that too in a webinar. There are so many webinars have people are really working on. So what happens is, now Udemy and Coursera, so many opportunities are there. So that what happens, people are really learning through those platforms, and they are updating. Okay, another important aspect is how this, now another question what is there in front of the HR managers is, what is the future of the organization, how my organization is going to look like. So the future of organization, now what is the working hours, what are the various locations from where the employees are going to work. If it is work from home, TCS as an example, we all know that most of the employees were asked to work from home. So they are working from various locations, remote locations. So what is the work arrangement, how the job design will be done, and how this remote working be an integral part of the every organization, and what are the freelancers going to do. Certain freelancers question now, how much, what is their participation, what is the nature of contractual jobs, how many contractual jobs we'll have, how many regular jobs we are going to have, what is the kind of skilled manpower we will be having, unskilled, super skilled, highly skilled, semi-skilled. So where is the placement of these people, which department, what so already these people are upgraded and updated. Now how do we place them? Now they will demand for more salary. Now how are we going to pay that much of salary? Now, is there learning, whatever they have done through self-learning, really in sync with the organization? Another important factor, the L&D component. So how do we make these employees really aligned to the organization goals, vision, etc.? Major challenge. And then how these employees are going to be future ready? Are they really good enough to work in this new normal, aligned to the company's requirements, customers' requirements, market requirements, strategic requirements, governmental requirements, and many more? So, what are the other things which we have to really focus? So, HR was totally confused. Basically, what are we going to do? So there are stalwarts. There are stalwarts like Professor T.V. Rao and many other professors and many practitioners who have come out with specific articles in the print media, already in LinkedIn, and there are various other sources through which people could learn. Now, on one side, there is a health issue, that how do we prevent, how do we safeguard our families and ourselves with the pandemic? So, how the well being component will be taking place. And another aspect is the collaboration within the employees. So, how the collaboration, face to face collaboration. Now, I have to, if I have to collaborate, I have to send an email. Any collaboration will happen virtual only. No teamwork. Earlier, my team, any problem is there, immediately I used to ask my immediate team lead, and team lead or group lead, and they used to help us. But now what is happening is, here it is virtual collaboration now, and video conferencing, email. So these things, so people need to have the upskill, students especially here, so many students are really listening, they need to upskill themselves in this particular area. So the HR professionals are concerned about employees health and well-being during pandemic, not only as the individual, also the HR professionals also are having this kind of strain. And this basically have to be managed and planned very well, so that employees are not having that kind of stress. De-stressing mechanisms need to be put up, so that the employees are constantly in a stage of motivation that connect with the employee. Another important challenge what a HR manager would be facing is the continuous motivation of the employee, one-to-one connection. Now the person is in different locations. There's a lot of background noise. Though there is background noise, one has to live with it. So, what happens? Background noise, maybe they are working from home. Children keep on playing at in the same room, but they have to manage their work. But at the same time, how the manager is motivating the individual. Now, individual staying at home, now they have got an additional responsibility of doing some tasks, household chores also they have to have. Now, finally, what happens now, because the spouses and other people, if they are gents, they will ask that, please do this for me, because I also have an office to attend. So they also, maybe both the partners are working. So that is another work-life balance kind of scenarios will also be there. So keeping all these things in mind, so there is lot of time what an individual is spending both in office as well as the work daily course. So earlier what they used to do, 8 hours they or 10 hours they used to spend, 2 hours for 2 hours or 4 hours for commuting. Now they are saving that time, but they are still at home, but working for more number of hours. So how this entire schedule will be made, how this mailing will be done, because the HR managers at different levels in different work settings, they also have to keep on delegating and informing, giving them new instructions, updating the requirements, expectations of the organizations. So all these things we have to really take into consideration as HR manager. So as a HR manager is trying to enhance, not only maintain the productive levels of employees, they also have a challenge broadly now, putting all these things in nutshell, especially for the students, that workers' productivity, motivation of employees, engagement of employees, and connecting of employees. These four things, four major things we have to really take into consideration. These are the four major factors that uh, ensure that the targets will move, and the goals can be achieved, effectiveness can be enhanced in the new normal. So this is a very important policy one has to come out with as a HR manager or a top management. They have to come out with a remote work policy. Refinement has to take place at every point of time. Redefining of jobs at every point of time, because there might be some employees who would say, "No, I am not interested to work." So they might attrition might be there due to personal reasons or health or COVID or any other thing. But there are some very good organizations like TCS and others that they are paying salaries to the employees, even to the families of deceased. So they are giving lot of support till the employee finally retires. There is going to be certain amount of salary as an gratitude to the employee who has really made the organization so well. So these kind of beautiful things are there. Now, HR managers, if we keep on talking about the manufacturing or service organizations, there are other areas which are gray areas like the educational institutions. We are facing now as a HR professional, we also have lot of issues related to the school children, the graduates, because the audience also has some graduates and postgraduates, if I am right.
Yes.
So basically these people are also facing issue, because entire day they have to be in front of their mobile, or their laptop or a desktop. And the earphones basically have to be fixed. Now, today I don't have earphones, fortunately, because we continuously keep on having these earphones or headphones. So today I wanted to avoid. So I wanted to have a hand-free kind of scenario. Okay, now these students, when they are in continuous touch with this, the radiation of a mobile or a laptop, and also the hearing component, that also getting affected. The health also is getting affected continuously. Many of them, because of technical issue, maybe lack of internet in rural, especially rural areas. Now, okay, many people have geo phones. It has taken care to some greater extent, but still some people cannot afford to have that much of internet connectivity or data or something, if at all it is so. But even government is supporting a lot in this direction. But what happens is the continuous exposure to this kind of radiation is also a very major aspect from the health and well-being point of view. So what happens? The children, they have to basically now they have to do certain amount of. We had recently the International Yoga Day and all that. So people have to really work on the immunity, yoga, and other aspects so that these things can be overcome. A healthy food and a healthy ambience where the children, especially, they must eat good food and then with a positive mind. That is more important, as according to our scriptures and other things, we have a very good clear cut description of how the food has to be partaken. So because food and head are connected, both food head are connected. So if head is okay, then entire thing is okay. So this applies both to the employees also in HR or any other domain, because head should be all right. So that is a major concern for HR. So so the point here is how people are having food continuously. They are on email or something, the stressful kind of atmosphere, and they are gulping certain amount of things continuously, and they find that they are not fully satisfied. So how do we really attain to this kind of scenario? So that is actually a very important component. So food has to be also taken into consideration. Now, another aspect, we have something called the forward thinking. We have something, if we go forward, we have to talk about the benefits. Benefits, what employees expect. The expectation management is another area we have to really take into consideration, both ways, organization and employee. The match between the expectations is a very important component that people have to take into consideration. What employee expects, what organization expects. This expectation management is a very important component one has to really take into consideration if we have to ensure that the employees are totally connected with us. So, and another important point that I would like to really submit is, you know, employees basically have not only business challenges, they have personal challenges. Now, they have other things like, some relatives suddenly they are not well. So, the mind get diverted. So though the organization is doing the best to ensure the employees' well-being, but employee themselves might have certain issues in the social or in the family or any other front. So that we know how the balance can be equilibrium could be maintained. So these areas, the T&D, L&D can really take place. From the now there is one more component, not only organization, employee, society. It is another component that is more important, that is family. So connecting to the family is very, very important. Recently a small write-up was shared by one of my friends. So what they have done is the one of the employee was feeling very much stressful because the boss was right in front of his screen, and his grandma basically was there in the background, who was not really that much so professional, like she was not wearing a tie or a business suit. It's a normal dress what she was wearing, and the children in the background were playing. So this person was highly, uncomfortable. So then finally, this boy has what he has done. He has put his entire thing in mute, and he said to his grandma and other people that you clear this particular room immediately. So somehow, immediately, then when he switched on, unmuted his phone, his manager asked me, why you have muted your phone for a minute or so. He said, I was asking my people to clear up because of the background noise, I was unable to work. So finally, before this interaction could get over, his grandma came forward. Grandma came forward and telling his manager in Hindi, बेटा इफ यू आपको यदि ये देखनी है कि आपका काम चले तो ये आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि हम आपका एम्प्लॉय जो है एक फैमिली का एक पार्ट है. सो आई विल ट्रांसलेट दैट दिस एम्प्लॉय इज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ फैमिली and he cannot be excluded or secluded or isolated from a family. So, you have to take care of the family also. So that is a grandmother has given that particular thing. So now a beautiful connect we have is the family also is to be connected, not only just the employee. So we are limiting ourselves, or the policies, procedures, etc. are limited to the individual, not to the entire family. So we have to take care of those things also. Now family mein kya ho raha hai? What is happening in the family so that this employee is made comfortable? There are certain things like some of their parents, some of the employees whom I know, their parents were admitted in the hospital. So what has happened is the managers and other people of their organizations, they have really helped the employee financially, as well as giving some certain other support. But the employee, what has happened? Employee has now started working just double than what he was doing earlier because of the relation building. What the organization has done with the employee, not only connecting with the employee, it is relation building. So this is where a lot of transformation can take place. So leadership, as a matter of fact, we have to involve into some kind of transformational leadership, and more into the spiritual aspect also is because now HRD is more of a spiritual dimension. It is having a spiritual dimension. So it is something like self and I and we. So this component has to, that I, the real self I, the Atma, and the we, the entire society, the organization, everybody. So that connect has to be there. So then only the he, the God, I, we, he. This is the linkage we have to basically take into consideration. So human being as a human being, if we can take a source from Bhagavad Gita, basically lot of inspiration we can have through Bhagavad Gita and other respected scriptures also, because all the scriptures in this world talk about the single thing, the unity in diversity. And at the same time, they also provide us the guideline that how the entire thing basically is has to be really managed, how this organizations need to manage, employees need to be managed, and how people can really be benefited out of the entire activity. Now, I would, if I am permitted, I would deal with certain questions, because normally what happens, in between, if we deal with certain questions, I can give some more insights into the other aspects which I have not dealt purposely. So I would request some questions in between, so that the participants also have an opportunity to interact.
Generally, we
If
were
I'm
planning to have. Generally, we were planning to have it in the end of it. Yesterday, also, Professor Padmaban Seshayar, who had joined us from George Mason University, he was suggesting that the question answer should be more than
Yes,
that of the speaker speaking. Definitely,
yes,
yes, we'll do that work. What comes to my mind first is the HR as a whole has come for a paradigm shift in terms of companies changing their work culture, their treatments, and so on and so forth in a radically different methodology where it was not practiced earlier. Now, I have three words to say. Now, can you just throw some light on expanding these three words connected to HR? One is the word rethink, because all the patterns and plans are being redesigned. Rethink, reorganize, and reconsider. These three words are coming very, very, very crucial for HR of
Yes.
today. How do you
Yeah.
see in the past and present?
Yeah. Wonderful. I think these three words are the golden words during pandemic. And this I have shared in another webinar where these words definitely I have dealt with them. Now, rethink, as I've told you during our interaction, uh, I've said that there is a lot of rethinking that has to happen from the old traditional ways to the new ones in the new norm. So, rethink is how do you, shift to digitalization is not the only rethink we have to make. Here, we have to go a little deeper into the entire aspect. We have to see that how these, the organizations and employees could be benefited, how the customers and consumers will really respond to the, strategies or the responses of the organization, the employees and others. Now, taking from the market point of view, what is the need of the customer today? Accordingly, we have to ensure that, we are providing our. Now, during pandemic, exclusively, I am confining my discussion to pandemic and those kind of impact only. Now, what happens is if we talk about the pharma companies, now what is happening to cure, COVID kind of this thing? There are certain medicines which everyone know. The cost of each medicine or each injection has gone very high. Can we rethink on this? Can customer really afford to this price? Can he or she really go to that kind of, because the income levels are really very, very bad. It has gone down. So due to the dip in income levels, how do we really ensure that the employee is getting benefited? What is the restructuring we can do in the employee compensation styles? And how do we reorganize the work of the employee so that the organization enhances its profitability and there is some amount of profit sharing? So this is the component. So this is where is the rethink, the planning component we have to really do, and restructuring now the and reorganizing have to go together, all together. So this is where is the entire game lies. So that is where is the role of the HR manager, which we have to really keep into consideration. I've kept it short, Professor Krishna.
It was really a nice explanation what you have given. True to say, at this point in time, how are we going to redefine ourselves and our policies makes a lot of difference. I'll just add one point here, since it is becoming a discussion, not as a webinar. I have one case which has come to me. Near to me is a hospital. It's a big hospital, and in that hospital, somebody was working, and he got COVID, and for 15 to 20 days he was unable to go and work in the hospital. When his salary came, the 20 days salary or 15 days salary was not there. Within no time, he has put down the papers and said, I got this infection from you or in this environment. If I am not paid for the days I have suffered, leave aside what I have suffered, but I am not even paid. So this is not an organization to work. Simple. That kind of reaction is coming from people. So it has become very, very sensitive nowadays, as you rightly put it in your words. Really. This is something very very sensitive, for close to the heart of many people, because this is what institution is nothing, a company is nothing, only HR makes it. So how do we motivate? The motivation is a big challenge, and the way you motivate, the way you get your responses, this is how it works. uh, Now I have
One more point.
yeah, please.
Permit me. HR is now heart to heart. HR is now heart to heart. It is not only mind to mind.
Absolutely.
Earlier we have mind to mind. Now it is heart to heart. So, the philanthropic component also will touch over here, because you know what Tata and other people have done. Sonu Sood, as a matter of fact, is doing lot of wonderful job. He is trying to help people, and there are so many other NGOs who have come forward, and there are certain so many youth they have come forward, providing food, supplying food to the COVID patients. Okay, there are some hospitals. There are online. They have provided free consultations to the COVID patients, regular support. Even the youth have come, they have done a wonderful job. That we should not neglect. So here what happens, now the entire thing of human capital alone, this word human capital alone, has now shifted to heart human relations. Now we
Absolutely.
have gone called, the Mayos, human relations, Elton Mayos. But now this has human relations now further strengthened. It has more refined. So here, now I heard Sadhguru, and I heard Professor T.V. Rao and other stalwarts in the HR domain saying that HR is no more, a human resource is no more a human resource. They are human possibilities. So they are human possibilities. So human possibility is what exactly? So there are unlimited, innumerable possibilities. So any situation can be dealt by anybody. Many people have come forward, youth especially, and every age level people have come forward, and they have really participated. They have helped the people in their own way. Every rupee that has gone, every amount of effort one has really put in has come from heart. So there is lot of possibility, because it can be lot of possibility in people. That has to be channelized, that has to be identified, that has to be really put into proper mode, so that the entire thing gets re-energized. So another word I am adding to your those three words, that is to re-energize. So re-energize is where we have to do, because the stress levels has to really come down. So how it will come down is through this. This is the connect, if we are able to establish. So I would like to submit, I would like to propose this kind of connector, so that there is re-energization in employees, not only just a transformation. I will, I think further I will refine my word of transformation to re-energizing. So this is the thing which we can really do further to beat the pandemic in the minds, not around us. Okay, around us is fine, but initially it has to go out of the mind. That stress, the fear has to go out of the mind. So that is the major aspect we have to really work on. As we are all HR professionals, whether we belong to HR or not, or any domain, marketing, finance, or any domain, actually we deal with people. So that is the reason there is no watertight compartment. Dealing with people, like we think, dealing with people thinking that they are people, that is more important. So that people as people, human being as human being, human possibility as human possibility. Yeah, yesterday there was some electrical issue in the house, but the one person has come to do the repair. So anything urgent? I'm in a webinar. We can really talk. Huh? Thank you. So what happens is, that electrical person, what he has done is, he has come out with certain amount of innovation. We have given him a free hand. We said, look, this is the problem. Now you have to do it. So he suggested certain alternatives, and we said, your money is not a problem. Now you do whatever is best you do. So he has given a certain amount of autonomy to the individual, some amount of trust that has gone into this. So that is where the HRD component has entered. So the trust, the openness in communication, the trust. Okay, the octopus element suggested by Professor Rao and Uday Parikh sir and other people is, we have the trust, autonomy, openness. These things are very important. The trust, when trust is there, I think there is a lot of performance we can see around. So lot of result, lot of productivity we can see around. So that has to, the re-energizing, this reconnect has to happen. Another word we can have is through reconnect. So reconnect with individuals in a new dimension is another thing which I would like to submit to this August audience, that the reconnecting with individuals heart to heart. So that individual, he felt so happy. He said, "This is my normal charge, but the way you people have treated me, I don't want this money. I want, give me whatever you feel." And we gave him something to eat, something to have some tea, refreshment, etc. And we gave whatever amount was really due for him, that we have given, and little more also, so that he said, anything is there, I am available. So that is the commitment, that is how it gets developed. So we have to ensure that there is certain amount of commitment in the individual that gets developed at every point of time. So we are not the kind of treatment what we treat an employee in an organization, that exactly is HRD today. Now HRD, we are thinking that we are developing competencies and other things, but it is not alone, it is not limited to that, it is more than that. So that is why I would like to I would like to propose that HRD is now a spiritual kind of function, rather than just being an managerial or any other requirement. So this HRD in the in this new normal, pandemic has taken this beautiful dimension. So pandemic should not be viewed as a thing which has really troubled the entire human race. We have to also look towards it in a positive dimension. That this pandemic has really given us a greater insight to have self introspection, and every individual as an employee or a employer or anybody can have something self introspection and see that what mistakes we were doing and what mistakes we basically should avoid. So there is refinement in the individual that basically has taken place because of COVID, because there is certain amount of time to really ponder and relook within, and see that there is some certain amount of people are doing some kind of um, you know meditation and so much yoga and other things, so that people have some time to relook within and relook what they are doing outside. So internal and external development is taking place automatically. So this COVID has given us an opportunity to develop, so more onto self development, self confidence, self learning. So the self kind of component has really enhanced. So this is a new thing which we can really see in the HRD in the pandemic, this thing. So any other question, Prof?
Yeah.
Sir, uh, very good. You have delivered very good lecture, and it is also practical. Practical. We are getting the practical knowledge during the pandemic period regarding the HR department development. Only one thing I would like to know, because we are in the pandemic period, we usually work at home and we are using the online. You have highlighted the various challenges and the positive side, negative side you have mentioned. But the thing is, whether the work is productive, that is the productivity, the rate of the productivity at the work at home, is productivity is expected level or not? Because you are talking about the expected management also, and how the productivity could be enriched by the HR practices during this pandemic period.
Absolutely, sir. Now
Yes, sir.
as we all know, sir, that all the HR systems, now we have HR information systems, various subsystems are there. We have online reporting. The we have the like we have the intranet. Every organization has their intranet, their own software of reporting mechanisms. So we must definitely have reporting mechanism through the software. So through online, that is one aspect. Another thing is many of the organizations abroad and other countries, they are adopting the social way of reporting. We have something like the social performance management. So this basically, what happens is they are using the WhatsApp groups, they are using LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. These are the, and that are firewalled, they are protected, and the only the company employees and managers can really use that. So finally, what happens is lot of openness is there, lot of interaction is there, and performance appraisal. Now it's a very nice question which is opening up, which is a solution to the issues which I have enlisted in the beginning. Like what is happening is the performance of employees is happening through the socializing platforms. They are no more using the online performance appraisal. Mostly in many of the countries abroad, they are not using this kind of thing. So they are using this WhatsApp, etc. So the manager is assessing through these WhatsApp groups that what is happening, how the employee is really feeling, how with the responses, the what an employee gives at over a period of time. So the interactions itself, so that has given a way for the assessment. So it's a very nice question, because these platforms basically are enabling the managers to give new directions and insights to the employees to move in a specific direction. So that is how the productivity of these employees is really getting enhanced. So this is one way, a unique way, an innovative way. So there are certain innovative ways now of uh, basically, innovative ways of having these HR practices. So let us find out, do a bit of innovation, and see that what is the best way to communicate, what is the best way to get the response from the employee. So there is lot of rethinking that has to happen. I'm going back a bit, kindly pardon me, Professor Krishna, that we have to rethink in this direction, that what is the best way through the socializing platforms, so that we can get the best out of the employee. Every employee would like to see a major achievement. Like, if you want to uh, motivate an employee, that a pen layout. So if you want to motivate the employee, on the Facebook or on the LinkedIn or on the group wall or on the organization group wall, you can put that award photo over there. So what happens, the employee is recognized, and over a period of time, when this motivation really goes up, the employee tends to be more productive. And more importantly, as a few minutes ago, what I have said is the commitment of the employee gets enhanced with the connect, the reconnect which we actually make. So that is where the productivity also would increase. So another important aspect we can keep in mind is the employees need to be dealt in an informal way. So now the formal kind of physical structures have really changed into an family-based, family, supported online virtual ambiences. So it is not a formal kind of thing. So how we have to deal with employees is we have to restyle ourselves, restructure our kind of communication with them, because we are not just communicating with one employee, we are communicating with the family. So that is where is the difference. So we have to basically ensure that, when somebody is treated with respect, if some mistake is done, now there is a new way of dealing with that particular problem. How we actually correct that employee, make him realize or her realize, so that the employee does not commit the same mistake. Earlier, what the traditional system was, probably we were giving certain show cause notice and these kind of things and so many other things. But today, most of the organizations being virtual, they have changed the mode to a new way of dealing with discipline and other things, and conflict management and other issues. So this is how, sir.
Yes, please, please continue.
Yeah. So this is how the employee treatment as a team, as an individual, as a person as a whole is enhancing the productivity, improving the productivity of the organization. So feeling good, the feel good factor, the well-being factor is one component. With my limited knowledge, what I can submit is the well-being component, the feel good factor, motivation factor is enhancing the productivity of employees.
Now I'll go straight because we are running out of Dr. Sondapani. You have any questions, or should I go
No,
ahead?
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Now we will go focused on from the student angle. I have two questions, Dr. Sharma. First thing is we are talking about a remote working scenario today when it is a employee side is concerned. We have traditionally been taught, I'm talking about the curriculum, we are traditionally taught of a curriculum which does
Yes.
not speak evaluation evaluation in remote working. How to do the
Yes.
evaluation in remote working scenario. Can you just throw some light to the students? Maybe they will be more interested to know something like this. How do you evaluate in a remote working condition?
Excellent. Excellent. Now, as we all know, Professor, that recently IIT have adopted a new mechanism of evaluating them, the students. What they have given in their questionnaire is whatever online classes are there, you review all the classes and put it in so many words. Two questions in the question paper. Okay. So one question is this. Now you give an entire summary of all the classes what you have really attended online. So that is one kind of evaluation. Second evaluation is we give a case situation. How would you basically deal with this kind of situation, which covers all the concepts or whatever concepts you would like to really put up? And those things they have to write in this many words. And that is submitted online PDF. Simple. So what happens? So this is one way what they have come out with. Okay. Another way, what you have already said, open book examination is another thing. Let the question paper be very tough and let the book be opened. Individual has certain amount of time. So unless the individual is totally clear with the concepts and other aspects, a person cannot answer a question. So we have to basically deal with those kind of ways through which we can evaluate online. So an open book examination, immediately what it is coming to my mind is one is open book examination. And second is, we can have this kind of evaluation, what IIT has done. And there can be many other innovative Google Forms and other, we have been already doing multiple choice and all that. But there is, what is the sanctity of that is really, a student, has to, opens a book and sees and writes few multiple choice questions, tries to guess and write, but a student is not having that challenge. So the challenge basically has to be there, so that the student feels that yes, I have earned this particular mark which is coming in my report card. So that has to be really given. And also a lot of reorientation we have to give from the very beginning, that this is the methodology we are going to adopt, and we have to continuously train the mind of the student that this could be the methodology, and this is the way how you have to go forward. This is the kind of preparation we are expecting. So expectation setting in one way also will help, so that the student is ready. Just like we used to say industry ready professionals, we have to actually now say new normal ready professionals. So we have to have these kind of students, especially in the pandemic, who can deal with these kind of questions and the mode of answering.
Thank
So
you.
I think
Thank you.
answers
Thank
your
you.
question.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Doctor. Now we are going to the industrial model of
sir.
HR challenges which is being faced now today. Most of the
Sir.
industries are work in a conventional methodology. We had factories, labors, and so on and so forth. Today we have
Yeah.
robotics, robots working in place of human. How do you see the challenges of HR in terms of reducing this workforce uh, replaced by machineries?
Absolutely. Now, with the things like Internet of Things, and you have robotics, and 3D printing, where a lot of prototypes are being developed, and many other things that are coming. So individuals need to be, the downsizing, right sizing is a very good question what you have asked. So it is basically to help the students. I am just repeating those words, so that what happens is, when there is lot of downsizing in the workforce, we have to ensure that expansion happens. An organization should plan for expansion of their businesses into new avenues. A diversification has to take place. What are the example? Like we have sanitizers and face masks and other ventilators in the hospitals, life-saving oxygen, providing instruments and other things. People can really think in a new way, that how we can support in the well-being. Like in future, if something comes, how are we going to deal? So we have to deal with certain innovative products, innovative mechanisms, innovative things. So we have to limit to what extent we can go for automation, to what extent we can um, we can keep our manpower. So there is a, now the human resource planning itself will take a new dimension, that what is the percentage of automation and what is the percentage of non-automation. Earlier we used to think who will be regular and contractual. Now we are thinking who will be online, work from home, and how much of automation can take. So this has really taken a lot of shift. So this shift IT enabled. So we can use the IT enabled services. So dealing with this kind of mechanism is employees need to be upgraded dealing with these automated machines. So that they don't lose their employment in one way. And companies also thinking of expansion, going out with certain new ways, new products, rolling out into the market according to the need, will ensure that these kind of these employees only are updated, upgraded, and they are used in some way in the organization, so that the unemployment issue will not really increase. But okay, but I will not support non-performance. So non-performance will have the pink slip and the doors open, but with a certain amount of support and training and all that given to the employee. So this is one way of dealing with this automation. And another way of dealing with automation is, we have the uh, organizations shifting to international locations. Now, what happens? The cultural, cross-cultural kind of scenarios, the change of customers. What happens is, how now in America, in US, for example, we have a lot of automation which has taken place. So we have to emulate. We have to basically benchmark with the benchmarking is another way. through which the learning can happen, through which the development can happen. So organizational development design restructuring is one way, and another thing is, the employee restructuring or adjusting the skill and super skilled and highly skilled. Now the level of employees, the educational level of employees is going to increase, because since you are going for automation, you need scientists who can deal with robotics and others. So now you have to go for highly and super skilled workforce. So the existing workforce can be dealing with certain operative and other kind of jobs. But when you have to deal with these kind of things, one has to be highly skilled. But dealing with these kind of, the automated kind of things will really has to take a new course, lot of innovation, lot of new ways of, foreseeing has to take place, so that there is a lot of planning in future. What government is basically thinking, that also has to really taken into consideration. The societal requirements, the people requirements also have to take in place. Now the electrical vehicles have come. Now other new things, so many homes in Hyderabad, we have robots really doing a lot of work, because the employees are sitting in their respective rooms for 11 hours or more than 10 hours. They are working continuously. Robot is programmed and they do. So all the maids now, because COVID and the pandemic, you don't allow the help, house help people to really come and enter your house, because the health issues, health component. So robotics have really taken the shift. So they have taken the role there. So, but dealing with this, again, they robots may get erratic. So, to what extent managing them is really difficult. Another point is, at any point of time, there is a limit to automation, as I've told you, that, human mind only has to really work in such a way so that, they think in sync or little beyond the robots. Because, sometimes it so happens that robots overdo it or underdo it. But human beings are the only people who has to manage. So replacement with robots and human beings, maybe it will not take place completely, but definitely the percentage might increase.
Thank you, doctor.
Yes,
Now we are coming to the last question, because of timing also is running out of.
sir.
Now we have the last question. Uh, there is something called government rules which has been given in minimum wages or anything, something like that. Minimum wages or
Yes,
skilled this, unskilled this, semi-skilled this. Now the
yes,
corporates are practicing in a different way, wherein our professionals are forced by the management to come to their levels by introducing performance linked variable pay. Is a very
yes,
latest entry in corporate history, that you vary on the performance, and the performance will be determined by the management. Whatever you do,
correct.
we are the people those who are going to decide it. So this performance linked variable pay somewhere hurts the government norms. How do you balance this?
Absolutely, it's a very major burning problem. The PLIS, more importantly, PRP, should be de-linked with performance. What happens, let us see that the employee is um, what you call employee is made comfortable. And second important point is, organization should also be comfortable. So there should be a balance. There should be a common link. So what happens, this is a burning problem. Employees hurt, maximum number of times employees hurt. So what happens in our stalwarts in HR and HRD, they have suggested, delinking the performance linked incentive system has to be done. The performance related pay, okay, whatever comes in your appraisal, yeah, whatever grade you are getting, correspondingly there is a proportional amount of pay, but sometimes there is no happiness in the mind of an employee. So this basically has to be addressed in a different way. Employee, basically, there is certain amount of standards which we put in very beginning, that employee has to be conveyed, if this is done, this is the kind of reward, or this is the kind of benefit, this is the kind of incentive you can expect. And another aspect is, employee performs or employee does it, so employee gets the benefit. Now there is another way of dealing with it, is there is a certain level of percentage that is fixed. Variable component. Now variable, now if you perform more, how do you gauge, especially in pandemic, how do we gauge that what is the percentage increase or decrease? That's very difficult. There is a standard slab we can keep. And if this is the certain level of productivity of especially in the manufacturing industry, if we can put up, if this is the level of profit which I can have, this is the sharing what I can do. So the profit sharing is another this thing. And ownership, certain equity can be given, certain profit sharing can be given, so that yes, this is the profit the company is getting, this is what you are getting. So ultimately, that is the way how we really deal with standard, the PLIS. So, I can elaborate and talk little more, but I don't want to. I'm cutting it short because time is running
Time
out.
is running out. Anyway, thank you so much for your valuable inputs in terms of HR in role of HR in pandemic, Dr. Sharma. Professor, you have anything to add?
Okay, no. Really very informative and useful to the management students as well as the research scholars. I thank you, sir. I thank you on behalf of our GRI Center, because during this pandemic period, the issue is the theme we are discussing today is issue based. So you have given very clear picture about the HRM during the pandemic period. It's very useful to you, sir. We are very grateful to you for your wonderful contribution in this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much, Professor. This is something like we need to have something to begin with. Somewhere it has to close. So I am going for a closure. We will have some different session in different subjects with Dr. Sharma at a later stage. A formal closure for this webinar would be we have completed the second day of our webinar, ninth webinar series, and Dr. Anjaneya Sharma has been with us, elaborating us in many sides, many dimensions, in an easy and formal way in a role of HRM in pandemic. Dr. Sharma, this is heartening to acknowledge that yes, these are all very, very simple presentations. Anybody who is listening can understand what you are talking about, and more of a bit thought provoking also. You have left with certain gaps which people can think and they can develop it further. So it's a module which you have used. I personally feel. I'm thank you. I'm on my behalf and my team's behalf, like Professor Sandra Pandit said, on Gandhigram's behalf, we thank you for being with us in this webinar series, and we look forward for meeting you once again. To end it, I have one thing which I used to say: the largest inoculation is going on, vaccination is going on of the world.
Yes.
Whoever is listening to this webinar series, please go inoculate yourself, your dear and near and relatives, wherever possible, whichever easiest possible way. Things are available now, vaccines are available now. Please do it. And second thing, even after having this vaccination, please do not let your guard down. That's my humble request to everyone, whoever is listening. And I thank you personally, Dr. Anjaneya Sharma Nouduri, for being with us in this webinar. I thank Dr. Soundarpandian for being with us after taking his very precious time out of his busy schedule, of your busy schedule, rather. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.